What's up, guys? This is day 90. So I'm doing side pressure day, which is the first day of the week in my program. So so far, um, so far on track to do all of it, and um, like I did last time, I'm replacing the one arm deadlift with this kind of not deadlift, but just lift with basically static hand position, and the pulley I have here. Um, and on my left, so I should mention I was a little bit sore. My wrists were okay, but on my left, my wrist was not just even sore, like a little bit painful, especially when I get into like a low hand. If I dump my wrist a little bit and cup, is a little bit painful there. So yeah, so especially the way I try to do these with my thumb in the back, it engages a lot of that like lower side of your wrist. And so I just decided to do some reps with much lighter weight on my left, more for rehab. And yeah, so the rep scheme is 10 8 6 4 4, which is like I don't know where that came from, but I'm doing it because it's in the program. And I think mostly I've never gone up more than 100 pounds on this, even though I think I could. And I think if I let my wrist go back slightly, not even go back, but like open up to neutral, and my fingers open up a little more, I can still get a lift off. But I wanted to be able to maintain like full wrist position while I was doing this. So I started off with like 80 and then worked up to I think 100 for 4, and it was pretty hard, but I think it's at a point where I can move up next week if I'm recovered reasonably, and just try harder. So that's kind of what I was thinking throughout the day, just making sure I'm working at a weight that's very challenging, but also slight room for improvement, so not really like going to failure. So yeah, that's what I did on my right. On left, after every set on my right, I'll just do reps with a lighter weight on my left, and that felt pretty okay. I think it still needs a lot more rehab, and I think maybe I'll do some wrist rise and chopping on my left tomorrow with like 5 pounds, just see if just getting a pump that way it helps. But yeah, after that, I had basically a bunch of side pressure sets, and then the eccentric handle and rolling handle. So for the side pressure stuff, at first I was really unsure if I should even do them today, just because when I was warming up a bit, it was a little bit painful, and I was like, yeah, but I thought the worst thing that can happen is that it's painful, and I know that the like side pressure workouts are almost never not painful. And I basically, after asking Miguel what he does and basically what people in general do, I know what I'm doing is super baby weight anyway, so there's pretty much not, like, I don't think there's much of a risk. Yeah, so I'm just being a little bitch, to be honest. So I decided to do it, and I did remove the rolling handle side pressure stuff, which, like I said, I didn't really see any difference with it between the rolling handle one and the one I'm doing right now, with just like a normal handle, because I felt that it wasn't really working my hand that much, and it was just a more uncomfortable way of doing it. So again, if I'm wrong, let me know, or if I should just find something else to do. But so if I had done it, it was 7 sets of 10 on the side pressure, which is a lot. But so I think I ended up doing 4 or 5 sets with just the normal handle, which already felt like so much. And it was definitely one of the harder sets I've done in a while, just because of how awkward it felt for me. Like, I'm not used to it, and I think just the movement is definitely like higher, like CNS tax than a lot of other stuff I'm doing, which is a lot of arm wrestling workouts I've been doing has been really light, like just forearm, maybe like bicep involvement, but this I had to keep a lot of, basically my whole arm and everything tight. So by the end of each set I was like pretty drained, which is I'm not usually after just like most arm wrestling specific stuff. And one of the things I noticed is and I not even noticed, but like I was kind of wondering is if I should keep my arm as tight as I can, or if I should leave it like a little bit more open, because when I'm pulling, I'm not always keeping it fully tight, right? And I wasn't sure how much I should engage back pressure, if I should do it as hard as I can and just get it as tight as I can and then do the side pressure, or just like kind of 80%, like. And I think the heavier the weight goes, it kind of fixes the problem, just because I think I'll find where I'm the strongest to move the weight. But with these lighter weights, I've kind of done both, where I've never done it like stupidly, like where I'm like not fully tight or like at a really open angle, but I think there's slight differences in how I do it in my arm angle and how I load up, and I was just trying to think about like what the best way is. Definitely it's easier when I'm fully tight and just like really loading the back pressure as well when I'm doing it. And yeah, it was a little bit tricky to like lean my body weight over to get the movement right, because I don't have anything to like push off of, but it's not too bad, at least for now. If I'm doing like 90 pounds like Miguel is doing, it's definitely, I'll need to find a different way to do it, but so far pretty good. And in terms of the weight, I've only ever done up to 30 pounds on this, so no, 35 pounds. So I think the first time I did it, I did like 30. The second time I did like 35. And I thought 35 was like really hard, but like Miguel said, he's doing 90. So I'm not saying I need to do that right now, but I realized I've just been like not trying nearly as hard enough, and I can definitely do way more than what I've been doing. But I was a little bit scared at the beginning, so it's fine. Like, I don't think I did anything wrong. So I worked up to 40 pounds, and I think I was kind of going with the feel. I don't know if I did strictly 10 reps, but around that range, 10 to 12 reps each set. And this was so freaking hard. I had to like take maybe 5 minutes between each set, and then towards the end my joints were hurting. But right now I feel pretty good, and like I said, I am still working with baby weight, so overall definitely really hard, but I think it was good. And yeah, I don't know what else to talk about. Let's see. So yeah, this is my last set with 40 pounds. And yeah, sorry. I guess a few of you guys commented that I should keep doing the videos, which I really appreciate that. And my roommate kind of made fun of me for being like a pick-me girl, where I'm like, yeah, actually guys, please tell me that you really love me. And like, I mean, I genuinely was going to stop, but I guess I was kind of asking for it. But yeah, anyways, I'm really hoping that I can be consistent over the next 3 weeks leading up to the East versus West tournament, and hopefully just keep you updated on how I do and do well there. So that's the plan, I think, for the rest of this week. I have 4 more days programmed, 3 more days, and I'm thinking I'm gonna probably take a rest tomorrow. I'll still post a video but do blood flow, just because my brachialis is surprisingly sore, and I think it's mostly because of the side pressure thing I'm doing right now. And tomorrow is meant to be like back pressure day, so I think it's really important, and I want to be able to establish like a good numbers on that day. So also I might post the program I have right now with the weights I'm using, just to, if you really want to, probably no one does, but like so you can keep track of where I'm at and where I'm planning to go, the same way like I would. So yeah, probably rest, blood flow tomorrow, and then do the back pressure, and probably don't need to rest for the next 2 days, so finish up on Friday. Well, it depends. If I'm busy, I might just do another blood flow in between, because the last 2 days I have to go to school to do it. But I'm thinking, I was actually planning on skipping practice this week, just because I felt that I wanted to be like focused 100% on just lifting in the gym, and I didn't want to get my joints too taxed. But now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I do have time to go to practice, because I can probably take Saturday off or do blood flow and then go to practice. So we'll see. So this is pronated side pressure, and on my right, this is also the most I've ever done, because I think previously it's been 30 pounds, and I was really struggling because I was like really obsessed with keeping my pronation like super engaged, but I just kind of gave up on that, and then it became a lot easier. So I think I went up to 45 pounds on my right, which is, like I mentioned before, most I've ever done, but also I felt that I had a little more to give, so like I can keep increasing. And on my left, the back of my shoulder and my pronator actually too is limiting me quite a bit, so I think I initially started with 40 or 35 pounds, and I had to work down to 30, which is fine, because honestly it's also the first time I'm really trying to do this with both arms. Like, I wasn't even sure if I'll try to do all the exercises on my left, but I ended up doing most of them, even if it's like I had to modify it a lot. So yeah, honestly, generally I'm pretty happy with that. And with these, I felt my form was a little bit inconsistent, but I mean, I don't know, I think I get the hang of it, but sometimes I'm not sure. So let me know again if you have any suggestions. But yeah, after these, I just had some eccentric handle sets and rolling handle cupping at the end. And actually my GoPro ran out of battery just before I started the rolling handle ones sets, and I did like 70 for 10, and then 75 for 10, 75 for 10 on my right, and then on my left I just did some reps with a lower weight, because my wrist is a little bit hurting, as I mentioned. So that's kind of it for the video. For the eccentric handle, I did 55 for 8, and that's also the most I've ever done up to this point. I felt that I could do a little more as well, because I'm moving it quite a bit, and I can feel that it makes it a lot harder if I just barely get it off, reset. I think I could do more, and it didn't feel super overwhelming, the weight, especially on my right. And I also have been like working with no chalk, and at this point it's really bad, so I just use my hoodie, which I think is actually like completely fine, but maybe it is better to just do it barehanded with chalk, I'm not sure. But yeah, so that's kind of it for the video. Sorry I didn't really have much interesting to talk about, but hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching.